Last time, on Apex Bound, Goku confronted Aethon, the first king, between Earth and the Moon, and learned the truth. He wasn't being threatened. He was being asked to surrender his own identity, to let an ancient bloodline reclaim the throne it once held. Then Virael appeared, the first queen, sealed away by Aethon himself for refusing to watch him erase an entire bloodline to protect his own claim. She offered Goku another path, but neither path was truly his own. As both ancient beings poured on the origin blood inside him at once, Goku understood this wasn't a fight he could win by strength. It was a choice only he could make. Choose the throne, Aethon said. Choose yourself, Virael answered, and Goku, suspended between two gods, had to decide exactly who he intended to be. The pull from both directions felt like the universe itself trying to tear him in half. Goku's mind fractured under the weight of two competing wills, golden and violet light weaving through his blood, like hands gripping opposite ends of the same rope. He saw Aethon's throne room again, vast, golden, eternal. He saw his own kitchen table, Chi-Chi setting down rice, Goten laughing at something small and stupid. Two entire lives pulling at him with equal, impossible weight. Enough, Goku said. Neither Aethon nor Virael released their grip. His voice rose, cutting through the noise in his own skull. I said enough. A pulse of golden black energy erupted from him, not drawn from Aethon, not drawn from Virael, but from somewhere deeper, somewhere entirely his own. For the first time since the beam had struck him, Goku wasn't channeling power that belonged to someone else. He was pulling on the origin blood himself. That's not possible, Aethon said quietly. The origin blood answers only to its true heirs. Maybe, Goku said, breathing hard, golden eyes steady now instead of flickering. Or maybe it just needed someone to actually ask it, instead of demanding it. Virael's amethyst eyes narrowed with something between disbelief and delight. He's not choosing either of us, she murmured. He's choosing himself, directly. Down on Earth, Zeythar's rings spun rapidly, alarmed. That's never happened, not once, in the bloodline's entire history. We studied the sky above, staff glowing brighter than before. Then perhaps, he said, the history was wrong about what this bloodline actually needed. The golden black energy steadied around Goku, no longer unstable, no longer from mismatched powers stitched together by desperation. For the first time, it felt like one thing, his own. Aethon's expression, ancient and unreadable for a million years, finally cracked into something raw. You would deny the throne its rightful heir. I'm not denying anything, Goku said. I'm just not doing it your way. The shockwave of Goku seizing control rippled outward across the vacuum of space, and something responded to it. Not Aethon, not Virael, something older, buried beneath both of them. Virael's calm shattered for the first time since her arrival. No, she whispered. That's not possible. Not here, not now. Aethon turned sharply toward her. You feel it too. I feel it, she said, voice tightening, because it's the reason we were ever split into two thrones to begin with. Down on Earth, Beerus's fists clenched instinctively. What in the world is happening up there now? Zeythar's face had gone pale as a being made of ancient energy could manage. The bloodline was never split because of ambition, he said slowly, as if the words cost him something to admit. It was split because one throne alone couldn't hold back what came before either of them. Was turned toward him sharply. You never told us this. Because I hoped, Zeythar said, we would never need to know. Above, Goku felt the golden black energy inside him shudder, not from Aethon, not from Virael, but from something underneath, ancient in a way that made even the first king and first queen feel young by comparison. What, Goku said carefully, is that? Aethon and Virael exchanged a look, the first genuine, unguarded look between them since her arrival. Old allies, momentarily, instead of old enemies. The reason, Aethon said quietly, your ancestors ever needed 2 crowns instead of 1. The space around all 3 of them dimmed, not from any attack, but as if something vast and ancient was simply drawing the light inward. The way a held breath draws air, Virael's violet aura flared defensively. It shouldn't be able to sense him, not this soon. Not through the origin blood alone. It's not sensing him, Aethon said grimly. It's sensing that the throne split has weakened. For the first time in 1,000,000 years, both halves of the bloodline are active in the same place, at the same time. Meaning, GOKU'S, meaning the seal that kept it contained, Virael said, was never about us fighting each other. It was about keeping the bloodline divided enough that it could never fully wake. Down on Earth, Bulma's voice crackles through Wiss's communicator, tense and rapid. Wiss, I don't know how to explain this, but every reading I have says something is being born up there. Not appearing, being born. Wiss's staff dimmed briefly, as if struggling against something pressing back. She may be right. This is not a being crossing into our reality. This is something reality is reluctantly making room for. Gohan's voice, quiet with dread. How do you fight something reality has to make room for? Piccolo's answer was grim, you don't. You hope it doesn't notice you. Above, Goku felt the ancient presence brush against the edges of his mind. Not violent, not even hostile. Just vast, patient, older than patience itself. Aethon's composed mask, cracked once already by Goku's refusal, cracked further now. We sealed our own division specifically to keep this quiet, he admitted. Virael and I were never truly enemies, Goku. We were the lock. The moment you unified the bloodline in yourself, even briefly, you loosened it. So this is my fault, Goku said flatly. No, Virael said, surprising even herself with the gentleness of it. It's the cost of you finally being honest about who you are. Every truth has won. The presence pressed closer, not moving, not truly present yet, but undeniably arriving, the way dawn arrives, whether or not anyone is ready for daylight. Aethon turned to Virael, and for the first time in 1,000,000 years, spoke to her not as a rival, but as an equal facing the same storm. We cannot let it fully cross, not with the bloodline still unstable in him. Virael's jaw tightened, old pride visibly warring with necessity. You want a truce? I want, Aethon said, for the throne to still exist tomorrow, whether it's mine, yours, or his. For a long moment, she said nothing, then, quietly, one condition. He chooses how this ends. Not you, not me. Him. Aethon's golden eyes flicked toward Goku, something almost like respect settling into his ancient features. Agreed, Goku, still steadying the golden black energy, now, fully his own, looked between them. You're actually agreeing on something. Don't get used to it, Virael said dryly. Below, Zeythar exhaled something between relief and dread. An alliance between the first king and first queen, he murmured. I never thought I'd live to see it. I'm not certain it's good news. Wiss's expression remained grave. It isn't. It means what's coming is worse than either of them alone. The dimming light around Goku, Aethon, and Virael deepened further, stars visibly guttering out one by one across the surrounding cosmos, not destroyed, simply forgotten for a moment, the way a room forgets its own light when something vast enough blocks the doorway. A voice arrived before a shape did, layered, ancient, neither male nor female, neither singular nor plural. It seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. 2 crowns, it said, reunited in a third vessel. How curious, how careless. Aethon's rings flared defensively. Virael's violet markings blazed brighter than they had all episode. Goku, golden black energy steadying around him, felt every instinct in his body, ancient and modern both, screamed the same warning at once. Who's there? Goku called out. The voice didn't answer directly. Instead, the darkness ahead of them folded inward, revealing not a figure, but an absent shaped like one, a silhouette made of the lack of stars, rather than any visible form. Eyes appearing last of all, 2 points of light so old they weren't gold, or violet, or silver. They were simply the first color there ever was. "You may call me," the voice said, almost fondly, the reason there needed to be a throne at all. The entity's eyes, 2 points of light older than any color had a name for, settled on Goku with something between curiosity and disappointment. The way one might look at a promising student who had just broken an expensive, ancient rule. "You woke faster than expected," it said. "The bloodline usually takes centuries to remember itself. You managed it in days." Goku's golden black aura held steady around him, though every instinct screamed at him to retreat. "You know what I am. I know what you were meant to be," the entity corrected gently. Before Aethon and Virael decided a single throne was too dangerous to trust to one person. Before they split it in two, out of fear, out of caution, a pause, almost fond, out of cowardice, if we're being honest. Aethon's rings flared sharply. "We split the throne to contain you." "You split the throne," the entity said, "because neither of you could bear to be the one who held the whole truth alone. Splitting it wasn't strategy. It was to frighten rulers, sharing a burden neither wanted." Virael's violet markings pulsed brighter, defensive. "You say that as if fear wasn't justified." "Fear is rarely wrong," the entity agreed. "It's simply inconvenient." Down on Earth, Zeythar's voice was barely audible, even to himself. "It's toying with them. It hasn't even tried to move yet." Wiss's staff flickered erratically, straining against something it couldn't fully measure. "That may be the most concerning part. It doesn't need to." Beerus's fists were clenched, so tightly his claws had drawn blood from his own palms. "Whis, what exactly are we looking at?" "Something," Whis said quietly, "that existed before the concept of thrones needed inventing at all." Goku forced his voice steady, though his golden black aura flickered with the effort of simply staying upright under the pressure radiating from the entity. "Why now? If you've been waiting this long, why show up the moment I finally get control of this?" "Control is precisely the problem," the entity said. "Aethon and Virael, divided, were never strong enough to fully wake me. You, unified, even briefly, very nearly did." Its ancient eyes narrowed slightly. "I find myself curious what you'll do with power neither of them ever dared hold alone." "I don't want it," Goku said. "Not the way you mean." "No one ever wants it the way I mean," the entity said. "They want it the way they mean. That has always been the trouble." Aethon stepped forward, positioning himself slightly in front of Goku. An old instinct, protective despite everything. "You will not touch him." "I have no need to touch anything," the entity said, almost gently. "I only need to wait." The bloodline in him already remembering what it once was, whether any of us will it or not. "I am simply patient enough to let that happen naturally." Virael's eyes flicked toward Goku, alarm breaking through her composure for the first time. "It means the more you use that power, the more of this you invite in." "Then I'll stop using it," Goku said immediately. "You misunderstand," the entity said, something almost like sympathy in its ancient voice. "It isn't a door you can simply close once opened. The bloodline does not forget what it has remembered. Neither, I suspect, will you." Down on Earth, Gohan's voice cracked with barely restrained fear. "Is there anything we can actually do?" Piccolo's answer was low, grim, final. "Right now, nothing. We're not even in the same category of fight." Above, the entity's silhouette began, almost lazily, to recede back into the folded darkness from which it came. Not defeated, not repelled, simply finished with this particular conversation. "I am in no hurry," it said, voice already fading with its form. "The bloodline will call me again on its own, in time. Rest, Son Goku. Enjoy what remains of the peace you're so fond of." A final pause, almost tender. "It suits you far better than either crown ever suited them." And then it was gone, not vanished, not destroyed, simply elsewhere, the way a held breath is finally released. Aethon and Virael exchanged a long, uneasy look. For the first time since her arrival, neither of them looked like rulers, or rivals, or gods. They looked, simply, afraid. That, Aethon said quietly, was not a threat. No, Virael agreed. That was a warning. From something that has never needed to make good on a threat in its entire existence. Goku, drifting between them, felt the golden black energy inside him settle, quieter now, but undeniably still present, still his, still listening for something none of them could yet name. So what happens now? He asked, neither ancient being answered immediately. Then, far below, Zeythar's voice carried up through the silence, heavier than either of them had ever heard it. Now, he said, we find out exactly how much time that thing meant when it said in time.